Oh, okay. Now I remember. Duh. I don't know how I forgot this. This was kind of this topic was the catalyst for why I had such a deep and open um, talk with my daughter this afternoon. She kind of dropped this bombshell on me about one of her best friends, um, someone that I kind of know because she lives in the same like condo complex, and she's always come over with her little boy for play dates and stuff uh, while I've been there because my grandson and her son are the same age. She's a little bit older than my daughter. Sadly, she recently had a miscarriage. She really wanted two children, but now she thinks she's too old. She's almost 40. I thought she was more, 30 or 31. Beautiful young woman. I'm 53 and I'm calling like a 38-year-old a young woman. What's that say about my age? But anyway, we were talking about her, and then my daughter said to me, "You'll never believe this, Mom." And I was like, and I thought it had something to do with maybe in vitro or they're going to use a surrogate or something. And I said, "What?" And she goes, her husband, I'm not going to say names or anything, is transitioning. I said, "You're kidding me." Not that I care. I mean, not that there's no judgment. I'm just very surprised because it just goes to show that with gender identity, there's no way for anyone to assume anything about someone's gender or sexuality or how they identify just by how they look or act or even culturally. When I've met this gentleman, well, maybe I should say lady. I'm not trying to be a smartass. He's transitioning and he's starting to take hormones, and at some point, everyone's just gonna say she or her, which is fine. I'm all these disclaimers, like I'm nervous about saying anything incendiary. Um, but I was surprised because, like I said, I've talked to this gentleman at picnics and parties, and because my daughter and her husband entertain a lot. They have a lot of friends, which I think is great. Hashtag can't relate, but I have a very small circle, and I live a very quiet life. Even just having Nick around so often is an adjustment for me. It's a happy adjustment, but I have lived here for almost 5 years now, and there's maybe been two or three people over here. Like I don't entertain. I don't have really the resources or space to entertain. But I'm off on a tangent again. The ADD brain, it's always there. So I've spoken to this person before, and you just never would have thought, like I guess usually when you think of someone identifying as the opposite gender, um, or an alternative gender, you think they're going to seem effeminate or seem, I don't know. I don't know how they're supposed to seem. There's no such thing as supposed to or should in this life. There just is what is. I mean, people never thought that Bruce Jenner, who had like a million kids, a couple of different wives and lovers and all this, and was a professional, what was he? What do they call it? A decathlon winner. He was, an Olympic athlete, and you don't think of people like that as dressing in women's clothing or wanting to be a woman, or these are like deep, 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 deep rooted, deep secrets that people keep, and you can't live a joyous, free life while you're living in secret. So this man was brave enough to talk about it with his friends and his wife, who's not taking it very well. And because I care for both of them, it's really hard to understand her angle and his. But what my daughter said to me just really touched my heart because it made me realize she's probably a lot more open minded than I ever gave her credit for. She's not judgmental. I think she worries about things, but she doesn't judge. And the part of all this that really affected me and touched me was that we were in the car, she and we were talking, and I said, "Well, how's everyone handling this?" And is he upset? Is he embarrassed? Does he not want to talk about it aside just from like the announcement? And she said to me, "Mom," she goes, "He was over here the other night, and we said to him, we don't care if you come here dressed in any other way than we're used to. We don't care if we call you by a different name." She said a bunch of other things too. My mind tends to go blank these days. I don't know. Senior moments, early Alzheimer's, God forbid. I shouldn't even joke. I sometimes don't absorb everything, but I mull it over later. I ruminate about it later. But it just made me realize I should stop being so afraid to tell her all kinds of things about my life too. And even when she seems angry about it, and then that gets my back up against a wall, it's really just because she wants to be a part of my life and she wants to talk about these things, like she and I really never talked that much about sexuality, or I mean there were always things kind of assumed, you know, she knew things about me, I knew a few things about her, but even when you're related or whatever, obviously it's a private activity. Intimacy is private and people's preferences and, where they're at. But we shared a lot about that sort of topic and it was great. And I just told her I was so proud of her for making this man, this transitioning person, feel comfortable and safe and have his friendship be intact because his marriage is now really threatened. Because they're also equally as good friends with the wife. And my daughter said to me, we feel so bad because it made her feel like her whole life and relationship with him was a lie. They've known each other 25 years and they've been married and, pretty happy by all exterior, indications. Um, Educated, intelligent, very engaging. He and I spoke about literature and poetry and art, and he's a writer. He works on his own from home and, um, makes a good living doing that. And sexual preference and gender identity has nothing to do with any of that. And I guess it was wrong of me to come to assumptions or conclusions based on just, the amount of facial hair or, the cultural background or, just how someone comports themselves. Today was like an eye-opening day. It was like an education. And I was just so proud of my daughter. I always say my daughter, I don't say her name just because I still believe that even though I'm here talking to all 123 of you, whoever actually still listens to me, I don't know. It seems like I lose subscribers. They're dropping like flies, but that's okay. I don't take this channel that seriously. It's just an online journal, with some of you guys. I really do consider you friends. But yeah, I don't know. I felt like today was a lot of learning moments, a lot of teachable moments, a lot of soul searching kind of, instead of it just being like, here's my real life, and then here's what I show you over here, and here's my relationship, and here's family, and never the twain shall meet. And today was like a nice integration. It was like a nice amalgam of secrets and truth, I guess I'm feeling kind of existential this evening. I feel kind of dreamy. I think I'm just really tired and going to go to bed very soon. But thanks for letting me share. I'd love to hear your opinions and comments if you want to weigh in. Like, what would you do if your spouse or lover suddenly said, I want to start identifying as the opposite gender? I'm super open-minded. I have a lot of gay and straight friends and bi and trans. In my last job, I have a wonderful trans friend actually. Was born female and had a certain name and a certain upbringing. And then maybe about 8 years ago, she changed her name and is now a he and takes hormones and would like to go all the way with it, just like my daughter's friend would, which I can imagine would be a huge expense and just a huge freedom for him slash her. But it takes its toll on the family, and it just makes you realize just how hard it is for a society to let people be themselves, and just how important it is to let people be themselves. And I walked away feeling like I took a lesson from it. It's so easy to think you know everything just based on your own standards and your own experiences and the lens and the filter that you look through just from your own life, and you realize like people have these other lives, these shadow lives, and these things that seem so shameful. But I mean, not to me, to society, maybe not so much now, but it's still an overcoming to fully embrace yourself and live your truth. And so I admire this person so much, and I admire anybody who can accept him as he transitions. And I pray for his wife. And and that his little boy doesn't find it too confusing. You know, children just know love, and love is love, and I just want everyone to be happy. I know that's what I want, so that's it about that transitioning. And I'm surprised I forgot all about that before. Too busy worrying about a stupid haul and my candles. But that's it. Now I am going to bed. Love you guys. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful evening. Peace out.